Welcome to Final Verdict. I'm Bell.
I'm Jamie.
I'm Plouffe.
And it's the last episode of Season 2. It's episode 100.
We're calling this our 100th episode spectacular.
Wow, I didn't know that.
And it's our last episode with Nicholas Plouffe.
It's true.
He's dead.
He's retiring.
I'm very tired, and I'm going to school
very
again.
retiring.
He's got tired. He's got always tired tattooed underneath his eyes.
Honestly, that's not a bad idea. I kind of like that.
I just came up with that
under
right
the
now.
eyes.
You can have it.
That's
Not-
Post Malone, baby.
Not under the eyes, but I'll put it somewhere.
Yeah.
Um,
So we're celebrating Nicholas Plouffe. We're celebrating Season 2 with re-ranking the albums we reviewed this year, like we did last year. You know, it's a constant. People like comfort foods, and re-reviewing albums we've already reviewed is one of my comfort foods. We've done 56 albums.
it's quite a few.
That's a lot. Some would say a handful.
And there's even more when you count all the topics.
No,
Then how is it 100 episodes?
because we did last year.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah, this is the 100th episode in total.
Yes.
And it probably
yes.
includes the little thing where I'm like, we're coming back. This is our 100th episode.
I thought you meant like 56 albums total over the 2 years, and I was
No.
like, what?
No, that'd be few.
That doesn't seem
That'd be
correct.
few and far between.
I was very confused.
But 100, we've done 56 this season. You know, maybe we'll have a website. We're working on it. And you'll be able to see the
Been
list
working on
of the
it.
last couple of seasons.
Maybe we'll
Yeah,
make some money this
It's
year.
literally just my fault of why I've not emailed stuff to my sister, but we'll get there. We'll have a website pretty quick. I gotta say, we listened to such a diverse set of music this year, and I didn't expect to like so many, and it was so much harder to rank. I feel like the top 10, top 15, top 20 was just like, man, deadlock. Every time I was looking at the list, I'm like, is this right? Like, do I still feel like that? Is it recency bias? But man, I love this season. It's crazy. Look at my top 10. 2 Jamie picks,
Wow.
1 Plouffe pick, 7 of mine.
That sounds about
What a
right.
surprise.
Yeah.
Last year it was 8 of mine and 2 Jamie's. So,
Hey.
Plouffe, you broke in.
I'll take it.
Took one of mine. My top rated Jamie pick was ELO. It's a great album. We'll talk about more in a bit.
Hell yeah, brother.
Top rated Plouffe pick, Recontre Lolo
Oh, so good.
by
Chocolat.
Chocolat. Another great album I still listen to pretty frequently.
Where's our longest album fit in there? Where's The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway?
Oh, God.
Well, we'll talk about Lamb Lies Down Broadway a little bit, in a little bit here. But what did you guys think of this year and some of the albums we did compared to last year?
I thought it was an interesting mix. There were far less that I had like a visceral hate reaction to. And there were some more that I thought I was more fair on. There's a couple I want to talk about that I think I could have been a little bit more fair, or as time has passed, it has aged more generously in my mind. And then there's a couple that I'm like, no, that album stinks. And that it's going to stay that way.
I went back and looked at most of my notes, and I kind of still just agree with most of my rankings. So what I ended up doing was just kind of picking a few things and questions like, what was your favorite topic? What was your favorite episode? Stuff like that. So we can talk about those near the end.
Yeah, it's interesting. Kind of like Jim was saying, I feel like looking back at last season, because I was like, if I gotta have one collection, last season's albums or this one, it was hard because last season I felt like everything was just good.
Yeah.
Good
Like there were
question.
some that were really good, but looking at the top 10, I was like, okay. Versus this one, I was like, man, the first 20 or top 20 are so good, and the bottom 20 are really bad, or like I really did not enjoy them. It was a much wider delta between the two halves of the list. And looking at my bottom 10, 5 Jamie picks, 5 Plouffe picks.
Yeah,
What is
we
Perfectly
died.
balanced.
As all things should be.
The bottom 3 are 2 Jamie, 1 Plouffe. There are some.
What's the bottom
stinkers.
two? Give
The
me-
bottom 2 are My Aim Is True by Elvis Costello being the worst.
I didn't pick that one. He picked that one.
I picked it from your collection.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
so that was a joint, I guess.
Yeah.
And Transmissions from the Satellite Heart by Flaming Lips.
Oh, that album actually stinks.
Yeah,
So,
that is a stinky album.
Poo poo doo doo.
So yeah, it was interesting looking and seeing like how.
What episode was that one from? It was from a topic.
I don't think so.
Yeah,
I
it
thought
was
you
from
just,
a topic.
Last Purchase.
Yeah,
It might have been
something
the
like
last
that.
one we bought.
Yeah.
And the middle pick, Wanted on Voyage by George Ezra, was right in the middle of my list. I feel like that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
That's from the Picture Disc episode.
Flaming Lips?
No,
you.
George Ezra.
Oh, yeah.
George
Yeah,
Ezra,
that
yeah.
was. Not bad. And when I was looking through my list, I was like, how do I decide what to move? So one of the things that I kind of looked at of things I wanted to change was, have I listened to the album or songs from the album since the episode? Because there are plenty where I never listen again.
Yeah.
Or like it's very, very infrequent.
Yeah, I was going to make that point that there's a number of ones that we listened to. I've never thought about them ever again.
100%.
Yeah.
As well as when I looked at the list, did the album stop me for any given reason? Like, did it look too high or too low? Did it look weird from the ones surrounding it? There was a couple where I looked and I was like, this is above and below it? Like,
Oh,
no. Like, that can't be. Oh, I got to make some changes.
because yours changes week to week.
Yeah, because you just give a number. It's hard to, like, I guess you can look back and it decays or maybe get stronger. Versus mine, I see the list and I'm like, where am I going to put this new album in it? So I get to reflect on my choices quite a bit.
Season 3, I'm going to the Bell method. It's a lot easier.
Yeah.
It's easier?
I think so.
I find ratings.
We call
so
that the
much
bell
easier.
curve.
Yeah, I guess for one last listens, if we talk about a specific song or albums, maybe I'll put in some samples. But otherwise, go listen to the episodes. I feel like this season was
Please.
a lot more consistent in its recording quality.
I'm begging you. Please listen to the episode.
When I went back to season 1 to listen to some of the episodes, I was like, woof, we were getting into the audio and like really trying to figure it out and the editing. It's a lot more
David,
consistent.
our friend David, also a fellow podcaster and friend of the fellow coworker and so on and so forth.
That was season 1 that he made changes.
Yeah, like
he
early
made changes.
on.
But that was it was after like our 10th episode or something like that.
Yeah, and I also learned about things like denoise. I
it's
also
crazy.
cut more stuff. If we flubbed stuff, a lot of the time I cut it out so that we sound smart the first time.
Hey, that's my favorite thing.
Hey.
So that's always nice. But for some of the things I made changes, just to get into the first album of mine, Ballads won by Joji.
Also from
I hated it so
it's
much.
from the episode with Cassiopeia and the Flaming Lips.
Cassiopeia is great. Flaming Lips,
Oh
not
yeah,
so
because that was
much.
the most. That was the pick. My most recent purchase.
Yeah.
I moved that from 31 to 24 below
Wow.
Hot Show
You
by Prozac
moved it up?
and above Comfort Eagle.
It's so bad.
Or spoiler alert, above Lamb Lies Down on Broadway.
Man.
I think I was too harsh on the album.
What? It was bad.
No, I think I was just salty from his poor live performance. Because like listening back, that first side really is quite good.
It's fine. I don't want to change my rating on it.
I don't
at
think
all.
it's
Yeah,
good.
that's
And then
fine.
to hear that he can't do it live too, it just makes it even worse.
Yeah, but I'm listening to the recording.
I understand that,
So I
but
was
I
like,
just
yeah, it's good.
I hate when people do that, when they do something in the studio that they can't do live.
Mm-hmm.
It drives me nuts whether it's an extra instrument.
Mm-hmm.
But at least with that, they can hire a session musician to help fill out the band on tour.
Yeah.
But like when you're adding notes you can't sing, or maybe just can't do consistently, it's like, don't do that then.
100%. But this is Vinyl Verdict. And the vinyl itself is fine.
Fine.
And I feel like even now, there are still songs. Like I was singing last week, singing to myself from this album out of nowhere. And so it's like there are lots of songs I found pretty fun and light. And again, coming to the summer season where I'm like going on late night drives, like it's a great album for that. And the Trippie Redd song is really bad.
Yeah.
It is really bad. The second side is definitely not as good, but looking at the other stuff that was around it, I was like, I don't know, man. Like
Interesting.
this is gonna be something I rate lower,
Yeah.
something I rate lower than like Blarf.
Oh.
Like no, I'd much rather listen to this than Blarf.
Fair.
So I had to move it up.
I'd rather listen to Blarf.
The one that just has like explosions.
The
and stuff like that?
only part of that album that's bad is that part.
Yeah, but it's long. And
It is
bad.
very long. I would not listen to that part. I'd turn it off after like the first 10 minutes or whatever.
Yeah. I have no opinion on Joji. My opinion on it hasn't changed. It's whatever. But you noted in the review of REO Speedwagon that you wish we had done it closer to the summer because it's summery songs. Do you have any thoughts on that?
No, it's still rated pretty high, so it's definitely one I'm gonna have to go through again. I think the top, I think the RS Speedwagon is, or I can tell you, it's 13th, and I think
Interesting.
anything in that top, man, probably 20. Like it really is such a solid list. I'm gonna put in a playlist and just like have something to listen to season 2.
Interesting.
Maybe I'll do a worst of season 2 and do a playlist with the 20 bottom albums. Just hate it.
It's funny because I own a greatest hits album that's called The Worst of Jefferson Airplane, but it's the greatest hits album. It's really good.
Wow,
Yeah.
and that's the worst.
No, yeah,
That's like Primus. They can't all be zingers.
yeah. They can't all be singers,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Well, like I said, I'll kind of go right into my segment because it's linked to this one. I also moved Lamb Lies Down on Broadway. I moved it from 16 to 25.
Good.
Which is right below Ballads Won by Joji and above Comfort Eagle by Cake. it's got some bangers. I still listen to Carpet Crawlers and Cuckoo
Carpet
Cuckoo.
Crawlers is so good.
So good. It is so long.
Oh, I forgot about
it is.
Cocoon.
It is
Oppressively
so
long.
And again, it's like I'm never gonna listen to the whole album because it's so long.
I hate
So
that
I had to
album.
move it down quite far. Like I moved it 9.
That is the most concept of a concept album we've ever listened to.
sure.
It is the most. It is the most rock opera. I don't even know if you could call it a rock opera.
Oh, right, because we didn't actually listen to Tommy,
We listened to the live album that happens
which
to
is
include
most
Tommy.
most of.
Yeah.
Tom. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that
that's
one was like just a full movie.
And then we listened to the Green Day album,
American Idiot. That
Right.
was last year.
which is a rock opera.
We never listened to The Wall. We listened to whatchamacallit instead. Wish You Were Here.
Wish we were here. Hey, that's actually so. Last week we talked about albums that or artists that we wanted to cover again. I thought about Pink Floyd.
Oh man, if
what
we did
would
Dark Side of
you-
the Moon, that would be dope. I never
No, I
used
would have
it.
done Animals. I would have done even worse.
I never listened to that one either.
You would have done worse. Animals is great.
Animals is great. Yeah.
Animals is a great album.
It's another album that so Pink Floyd after Dark Side of the Moon has like 12 tracks on it.
Yeah.
It's like a normal length album.
Yeah, it's pretty normal.
And then Wish You Were Here has
like
like five tracks.
Yeah,
Animals
is
also
similar.
has 5 very long tracks.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Yeah, isn't it like it's like dogs?
Pigs and Dogs,
Pig-
Pigs on the Wing.
Yeah, Pigs on the Wing.
Which is a short song.
Yeah. Pigs on the Wing.
Yeah, Pigs on the Wing is a
great.
good song. Anyway,
Jamie, were there any that you thought about re-ranking or changing your score on?
you know, Machine Girl.
It's on my list too, actually. What,
I
what'd you
moved
change?
it. I moved it further down the list because
Interesting.
it isn't as listenable.
Fair.
As some of the other ones.
It was pretty cool.
Like
and I
I
liked
don't
it.
make a list, but I was like, I think I was a little too generous on that one. So I moved that one down. I knocked a couple points off it.
Funnily enough, I moved that one up.
Interesting.
So it was really low before. I had it 39.
Okay.
I moved it to 31 below.
That's probably generous. Yeah.
Spoiler alert, this is another change. Currents by Tim Impala and above Fushu Mang.
Oh yeah, you moved up Tame Impala.
Yeah,
didn't ya?
so though it's a really niche album, You Avoid Synthesizer, it's industrial screamo music. I've listened to it a few times since the episode because it's a great album because I drive fast and aggressively. It's an album that I think suffered from being reviewed in a way where you sit on a couch and listen to it for just back to back and
Totally.
multiple times per song to really review it versus like when you're just not sitting still and not trying to not like sound dumb and you just put it on. I was like, oh, this is fun.
Yeah.
But into that, I also moved Tame Impala slightly. I moved it from 33 to 30, below Royal Blood, self-titled, and above Machine Girl or Fushu Mang before that. But I felt bad reviewing the album like I did because I was so tired of the vocals. I was like, man, people really do love this. Like maybe I'm wrong. I was
a good
listening today.
album.
It's got some good songs, but I still don't love it. Like
I don't think it's Tame Impala's best album. I'm a big like Inner Speaker
yeah.
fan, like their first couple, or his first couple, but I still like Currents quite a bit.
Yeah, it's just got all that vocal effect. It just does wear on me.
Yeah.
And I think passively it's good, but I'd rather listen to Yellow Days, which also kind of reminds me
Sure.
of Tame Impala.
Yeah.
Tame Impala has that heat stroke vibe that I was describing in the EP's episode. But Let It Happen and Less I Know the Butter really are just bangers. Like those
Yeah.
two songs
Yeah,
are really
sure.
good. So
Less
I
I
bumped
Know
it up
the
a
Butter's
couple.
amazing.
But I couldn't bump it up any higher. Another one that I couldn't bump up higher was Superflight by Cassiopeia, which we again mentioned earlier. I tried listening to it several times. I can't. I listened to I Love New York and then I turned it off because that song is so good.
It's so good.
I don't know what it is.
Vocoders. is
No,
just
I don't know what it
amazing.
is about not liking that album. It's super cool, but it's like I just doesn't.
Do you
it
just
doesn't grab
not?
me.
Do you just not like smooth jazz or not even smooth jazz, but like not acid jazz,
No, it's not acid
jazz fusion?
I don't know. I guess not because like it's cool in theory, but then after a while I'm like, no, I'm done with this.
Oh man, I love it. Maybe try Mint Jams. It's their like Superflight's great, but I really want Mint Jams. It's just so hard to find because it's so in demand. And it's all live, and they did it like in one take. And it's very tight. It's got a cool album cover. I don't know. Give
What
Mint
was that album
Jams a
you
try.
chose that had the pool and then it gets savaged by a
We never listened to it. That was NXXXXXX.
Oh, favorite album covers?
Temptation. No, that's X.
XXX
No, that is it's Fujita scale.
Yes, yeah. What did you almost choose that for?
And XXXXXS. Yeah, I think favorite album covers.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
good album cover. I don't know why. it
It's
just
really
reminded me of
cool. I'd recommend that too. It's not like George Clinton, but it is definitely more weird vaporwavy.
I don't know if I looked it up, but I must have grabbed the photo for that episode so I could show it on screen. Because I was like, that's a sick album.
It's really cool. I almost picked it. I'm probably gonna listen to that on the way home now. Actually, I love that album.
You know what album I went back and listened to, and I was like, maybe I was a little unfair on it, and maybe I was in a bad mood when I listened to it. The U2 Songs of Innocence, and then I went back and listened to it. I was too generous on that album. That album sucks.
I hated it. Thank you
See,
so
I
much.
also re-listened to it, and I was like, I'm going to leave it exactly where it is.
Man,
Like,
I
it
hated
is
that album.
28.
fine.
28.
It's so mediocre
31.
and bland.
What number is it?
It is 28, 29, 30, 31, 33.
Yeah.
So just under the middle, 5 under the middle. It is fine. I like a couple songs a lot from that album, and it's doing some heavy lifting.
Yeah.
But it is just like pop waste. It's like a lot of the Coldplay albums where it's like it's just pop filler music.
Yeah.
Which is too bad.
Yeah, I like the weird juxtaposition between that album and the album that we covered the next week, which is Ray Charles' Modern Sounds in Country and Western Music.
I listened to that album to see if I should move it down because like it feels so out of place. No, it's a great album.
Yeah, it's a great.
It's really good.
Because it's in the it's like I think 14. I was like, oh, maybe too high. But no.
The listener must have been thrown off though, because like going from U2 to Ray Charles, they don't jive.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next album we covered after that is Fushu Mang by Smash Mouth. Anyway, none of those records sound anything alike. They could not be more different, but that's the appeal of this podcast, I guess.
Yeah, it's like going from Peace or Love to Smash by The Offspring. It's like, whoa.
Yeah.
Very, very different.
Yeah, very, very different.
Yeah. Plouffe, any standout albums that you, even maybe one that you've listened to that was more often from one of us? Is there an album that sticks out as like I enjoyed this one that you guys brought and have listened to it since?
My peanut butter pudding surprise.
Was it just yesterday you said that was a bad album, or last week you said that was a bad album?
I don't like
I
the-
can't believe you liked Evil Urges that much.
I don't like the album that much.
Peanut
But,
butter. I
like,
say that all the time now.
There's something incredibly catchy about that stupid peanut butter
It's
pudding
true. It
surprise
is so
line.
catchy.
That it-
Highly suspicious.
yeah, highly suspicious of you. That it still pops into my head every now and then.
Such a good album.
Yes, it's so definitely that.
That was when I listened
overall.
to see if I should move it down, and I was like, should I move it up? This album rocks, but I left it where it was at like number 5.
Yeah.
It's something high. I really like that one.
And then, I mean, George Clanton, it's been purchased, and I'm going to listen to it a ton once
I
it
watched
actually
them
gets
buy
here.
it. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, we saw the couch last week and bought
No, it's I don't know. I just really like his stuff.
it. One, I guess, kind of on the George Clanton train, Alchemy by Disclosure.
Oh, yeah.
I moved it up a few spots from 11 to 7, below Evil Urges by My Morning Jacket, and above Breakfast in America by Supertramp. Man, it's so what I kind of felt, I talked about last week with Food. I find I didn't mind the little intro outros on this album as much after a while. It did make me start to listen to the album in full a lot more because, like, again, I was kind of like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to put it on a playlist.
Certainly.
But even when I did, the intros and outros are so quiet that most of the time it just kind of feels like
There's nothing.
there's nothing happening.
That's why it's so annoying as a driving album.
I guess.
Because you get these weird pauses in between the songs.
I guess. But I guess when in that case you do hear it. Versus like in a party, it's just like, oh, whatever. And the songs are just they're just such bangers. I don't really mind.
Yeah.
It also is the season for it. Like it's spring, early
Yeah.
summer. They're very light. It makes sense.
I thought
I do enjoy it.
Yeah, that's an album that I put on because I also bought a copy. Mine costs far less than Bell's.
Sure did.
Shall I
Go
rub
listen to
that in
album.
again?
Go listen to that album to see how much I paid. It was a lot. Or hear how much.
So that one is one that I will defend my rating on. I think I rated it appropriately, and I think it is well placed on your list. But Kings of Convenience, Peace or Love, I think I was too generous on that one.
Really?
That album is just okay.
Oh, I love it.
I know. It's fine,
Love it.
but it's not as good as some of the other ones we listened to.
It actually moved up one spot.
Interesting.
AKA, it's in 3rd place, and I finally moved Electric Light Orchestra down
Wow.
a spot.
Wait, what's number 1?
Number 1 on my list, which we'll talk about later. I Love You, Honey Bear by Father John Misty.
Oh, fair enough.
But yeah, because you guys would also mention, I can't believe Electric Light Orchestra is that high. I can't
Yeah.
believe it.
No,
And I went
that
and
album's
re-listened to it,
amazing.
and I was like, maybe I'm wrong. And I was like, no, this album rocks.
Living thing, baby.
It is so, so good. But I have listened to Kings of Convenience, Peace or Love probably 26 times.
Sure.
Just a random number, but it feels right for front to back listens. I love that album. So I had to move it up a spot, and Electric Light Orchestra, new world record, down a spot.
Do you know what I haven't listened to again at all?
Go on.
Yeet. I'm so sorry, Arthur. It
I
was
try not to count the guest episodes in there. Although I will say
I
that
do,
the
and
surprise
that's all right.
hit was Cowboy Carter.
Oh, 100%.
That
Yeah.
was that
That
was
was
a
good
surprise
album.
hit. I really enjoyed that one.
Yeah, that was 21 for me, I think. Good album.
I got the impression that Arthur was not always fond of the album either, but he wanted to teach us something.
Oh, yeah, no, totally.
And
Which
he
was
taught me that I don't like Yeet.
he chose a very interesting album, and he had a lot to say about it, which
Yeah.
is great. I can appreciate that.
yeah, he was a good guest.
I do not like
Yeah.
Yeet, and that is confirmed now.
Yeah.
And I do not like that style of hip hop that is emerging, and
Certainly.
it makes me sad. But
That was
it is.
He,
44 to 56 for me. That was not.
That
not a
sounds
fan.
Fair. Fair. Yeah, but Cowboy Carter. Let's talk about the guests real quick. So we had Sarah, we had Arthur, we had Dan.
Alex. Did Alex come on again?
No,
No,
Crazy.
that was
he was
first.
such a good guest. He just
Thought he's here twice.
stands out.
Yeah,
we only had three guests, right?
thought there was a fourth.
Oh well, Dan was on.
We had the Christmas episode.
Who am I forgetting? I feel bad now. I've forgotten somebody.
No, we had Artie, Dan,
Sarah.
Sarah.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah.
That's crazy.
And
What a
then we
busy
did
year.
Oh, it's probably just
We had
talked about
A
the few
lot of
different
people
options.
planned that had to get pushed into
Yes.
season 2. So
Yeah,
we'll
that's
probably
what
have
it
a couple
is.
guests back to
Yeah.
back in season 2.
Season 3.
Season 3, yeah, crazy.
This is-
Third
we are
season.
welcome to season.
We're
2.
almost at syndication, baby.
Oh,
So yeah, we'll have a couple guests because we had a bunch lined up, but then had to end the season because I'm going to Japan. We also are at a year, which is crazy.
Yep.
But it ended up changing some timelines. But yeah, I think our guests did pretty darn well. I mean, they were very interesting. Like Acid Dust by Lauren
great album. I like
ended
that.
up pretty far down for me.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think it was like 43 out of 56.
Not-
That's probably
Super
fair for that.
surprised.
That is actually.
Maybe a bit
I
higher,
enjoyed
but-
it.
I liked it, but yeah, I understand why you put it kind of lower.
Yeah, it was one that that's why I was like, I looked at Superflight and I was like, worse than Lauren? And I was like, yes. Just a little bit though. Very, very good though. I think the only other one that I would call out is, of course, I Love You, Honey Bear. It is not moving. I just want to give it more flowers for being the top album this season. It was a huge surprise because I picked it without listening to it. I just was like, I got it in an auction. Pop-up book is cool. I'm going to pick it. And now it's like my favorite album of all time. It's crazy
Interesting.
how that happened. I've been listening to it so frequently for almost a year now. And there's still songs that make me emotional while listening to it. And the pop-up book that plays a MIDI version of the title track is so cool. Like, man, what a neat record. True surprise for me. Were there any surprises to you guys for ones that kind of popped out as being quite good? I feel like one of you gave a perfect score recently, and I was like, oh,
What was that one? Yes. What was a perfect score?
I know. It's like I'm looking through all the lists.
Was
to
it
be like,
Disclosure?
Oh, the horrors he gave
Yes.
very high.
Yeah, the horrors.
That was
Man,
that was
the
also
horrors,
a surprise.
The horrors was so good.
That was records we never played. So that's 2 records I never played. That
I
ended
went
up
to
being
try and buy
fantastic.
that, but that album is $200.
Yo, shout out the auction, $10, baby.
It's because it's out of print, but
Yep. And then Walking on a Dream was quite high as well. I think for all of us.
Yeah, that was pretty
dude,
good.
Electric Guest and Chocolat, those were two standout hits.
Electric Guest was really good.
Very strange. That I really liked that one. I was somewhat surprised I enjoyed George Ezra as much as I did.
Yeah, it's good. Good album.
There's a couple other ones that like. I was surprised that you guys liked the Kinks as much as we did.
Yeah,
I kind of knew I liked the Kinks going into it, but
that was an early episode too.
Yeah. Yeah. Did that move anywhere on your list?
Nope. Still, I think it's 16th spot.
Yeah, that's about right. But yeah, no, Cassiopeia we talked about earlier. I still enjoy that one. Actually, here's a standout one from number of plays. The Slipknot album has some of the most plays this season.
Oh yeah, I forgot I chose their self-titled.
Yeah, that one did really well. But I also still enjoy it.
Yeah, it helps that Slipknot was in the news recently, mostly for being bad.
Oh no, what they do now?
It's just Corey Taylor kind of.
Oh, is he kind of a turd again?
He's always run the band like a business, and he's gotten flack from that before, mostly from previous band members and whatnot. I love Slipknot, at least the first like 3 albums, but Yeah, that's Corey Taylor for you.
No, I didn't read anything about him.
I think Chocolat was one of the bigger surprises as well.
Dang.
Man, that was such a good album, and it's one that, again, I've mentioned before, like the second half lags a bit, but
Not
Still-
by
wow,
much.
is it good?
Still good, yeah.
And what a cool album cover. It's one that's on my
I
wall to show off to people when they walk in, and I have no problems at all putting it on because, like, yeah, it's higher energy, but it's not
So cool.
constant. So, like, there are some breaks where it's quieter.
Yeah.
Koyanatsky,
I don't know how to pronounce it.
bothers me less. I still skip it every time I can.
Yeah.
But it does not bother me as much as it did that time. It really is such a great album. And it's 10. It like blows my mind again how good the season was.
If you can see them live, especially because we're in Canada, highly recommend seeing Chocolat live. They
certainly.
do all the things live that they did on that album. Those crazy high notes he does sometimes, and like
They don't really have an online presence too. I've been trying
No,
to find
it's-
something.
that's why
I don't even think they have a website.
I was surprised you guys were able to find the album.
I think it's just on Amazon.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
What? It's just on Amazon.
Oh, I bought the album from Bandcamp, but listen to it on Apple Music. Yeah.
Shout out Bandcamp. I buy so many albums off Bandcamp.
Speaking of bands that have done something bad recently, we covered the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Oh yeah, Kiedis is
what happened?
pictured with the like 19-year-old girl.
Yeah, he's going out with a girl that was underage when he met her.
Classic Anthony.
So that's not so hot.
Yeah. My one regret before leaving is because I finally got one of my top 3 John Frusciante solo albums. The Will to Death got repressed last year, and I did not realize until recently. Luckily, I managed to snag a copy for $40, and hopefully he'll repress the other 2 sometime before I die, so I don't have to spend $1,000 to buy them.
Oh. Well, they'll have to come on as a guest.
Yeah, maybe.
You can choose some good albums you didn't get a chance to talk about.
Because I love John Frusciante. Red Hot Chili Peppers are great, but mostly from Frusciante's guitar playing.
Certainly, yeah.
Kiedis is a creep.
Perhaps not their conduct. Or,
No, definitely not.
So anyway,
Well, it was hard picking a favorite episode because you mentioned that earlier.
that's true. Yeah.
So I was going through. I think last week's episode was really good. Man, that was 3 pretty darn good albums back to back. I was like,
Certainly.
wow, I'm having fun listening. I think if I had to choose just one, though, it would be either the Christmas episode, but that feels like cheating.
Oh, God.
Or favorite album covers, because that was Recon Tre Lolo, that was Electric Guest, that was Moody Blues, which was fine. But talking about the art and the artists and really diving in deep to the history of the album covers was so much fun.
Yeah.
Getting to talk about Elevator Teeth, who's my favorite artist, and stuff like that was so neat.
Yeah,
So I
definitely.
had 2. I had favorite topic and favorite episode. Favorite topic, I also chose favorite album covers. I thought it was just really hard to make a selection. I think we all chose very well.
Yeah, we all had so many examples of other stuff we liked.
Lots of solid runners up. Yep, fun to talk about the artwork. And then my favorite episode was actually Smash Mouth's "Fush You Mang." I just love Smash Mouth, and it was fun that we all bought the album.
We did. Yeah, that's true. That was fun.
It's just got such weird album art cover.
Man, I'm trying to think about individual albums. Jamie, do you have any answers to favorite episodes?
I enjoyed. Excuse me. Sorry about that. I enjoyed telling you guys about the Offspring.
Sure.
I thought that one was
Yeah.
a fun one. I enjoyed the weird reaction you guys had to the REO Speedwagon one, where I was
Something
kind of
badass.
like, "It's okay," and then you were like, "No, this is a solid album. It's really
it's
good."
good
I'm
enough,
like, "Oh,
yeah.
okay, sure. I really like it too." Then, I guess. But I think I enjoyed the. It's tough. I mean, like the Christmas album is fine. We all hated it in the same way. It is a terrible album, and
Yeah,
it's
it's
an
not very
awful
good.
pressing. Sorry to the guy who pressed it. I know you probably paid a lot of money for it. In fact, I think he told us that we paid a lot of money for it. I think the most interesting thing is when I bring an album and then you guys go, "Wow, that was really cool," and then I'm like, "Oh, all right. Well, let me prepare myself to get more passionate about it because I thought you guys were going to rip it apart." So.
That's why you got to be passionate, even if you guys, if the response isn't good. Like I will talk for days about Lucy Rose, even though you guys are like, yeah, it's fine. I'm like, cool.
Yeah,
cool.
I'll talk for days about REM, even if you think they're just all right.
I did not think they were all right. I thought they were bad.
Well, I don't know. Wait, did we cover Gordon this season or no?
I think it was
covered
really no idea. It was late last season.
Last season, yeah. Like for example, you guys really like the Arctic Monkeys. I think the Arctic Monkeys are just okay.
I only like AM,
Yeah,
and I
AM's good.
love AM. I think it's amazing.
Going
But
back and listening to that album on the way in this morning, it's fine.
It's so good.
It's very of a time.
It's funny. I was talking to someone. I can't remember who it was, but they're actually it might be Adam, but they're like a big original Arctic Monkeys fan.
Back when they're more punky.
I guess so. Or
Certainly,
like their
yeah.
first few albums, they really like them. And then so when AM came out, they hate AM. They're like, no, this is totally different. They've changed their sound, blah, blah, blah. But I'm like, well, I hated their first few albums and I loved AM. So it's just weird how sometimes a band will make,
Yeah.
5, 6, 7 albums and their sound will change very much throughout the run.
We recently discussed the idea of perhaps going to see Death from Above, which we covered last season.
Yeah, they're coming to town.
Because they're coming to town on a 20th anniversary of that album tour.
Yeah.
And then we covered Royal Blood, and I said that they reminded me of
DVA. Yeah.
Death from Above. I listened to
Or
that
DFA,
album again.
yeah.
I don't think I was as fair as I could have been on that album. It is
It's
very
fine.
derivative though.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, it was one under the middle point for me.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah.
man, that seems about right. I re-listened to it. I was like, this is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, like, it's just
good.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I didn't really feel like re-ranking, or sorry, I feel the need to re-rank a lot of the stuff. I thought we were pretty good on a lot of them. I went back and listened to a couple episodes, especially the ends, and the last season there was a couple albums that I had like a completely visceral reaction to, like The Best. I hate The Best. That
Yeah,
album
they're not
sucks.
that bad. Every season it'll go up a little bit for me.
They're pretty good. The best
But
are great.
You notice we didn't talk about Prozac very much this episode.
That's
that
it.
album's great.
It's one of my favorite episodes.
It's-
I like
it's so
talking about
good.
Prozac, the
Yeah.
first one of the season. I think them and Kings of Convenience were the two bands that I like spent a lot of time researching because I do quite enjoy them. And it was fun going through it. I hope that other albums of theirs get pressed to vinyl so I can buy more.
Certainly.
Please. Any final thoughts on any of the other albums we've talked about this year?
I can't think of anything. Like I said, I think we were pretty fair on a lot of them this part of the season through, or sorry, part of the podcast through.
Yeah.
The first season we were a little bit more like wavering in our, like if someone pushed back on something, we might change our rankings a little bit more. But we've been like 100 episodes in. I'm not afraid to tell Plouffe that I don't like ska. I
Yeah.
still don't like ska.
Oh, Scott's great. It's a wide breadth of music, and you've only really tasted
It's only
couple of
just
small
begun.
things.
Yeah, I know. It's just one of those things. Like, how many episodes of the bad season do I have to watch before the show gets good? Kind of
I
thing.
hear you.
After the first 100 episodes, man, it gets so good.
It's hard. I like pretty.
Just
I like pretty much
just next season.
everything except for like piano music. Drives me nuts.
Piano.
Yeah, like classic pop and just a guy or girl with a piano. Everything else, I'm typically pretty on board with. But as soon as you do like piano and singer or like ultra poppy, I tune out so hard. Can't stand it.
I was gonna cover Carole King's Tapestry, which was on the list that Apple put out.
Apple says a lot of things.
Yeah, it's true. They said Exile and Main Street and Paul's Boutique were way up there. Anyway, Exile on Main Street is still a great album. You should listen to it. Don't listen to these guys.
Blonde by Frank Ocean, number 5.
Oh yeah,
I will
that's an
be
interesting
covering
pick,
that
isn't it?
next
Yeah.
season.
Do you see where Marvin Gaye's What's Going On was? It was like in the top 20.
Yeah. I own that. I've not listened to it before, though.
What's going on?
No,
Is
that's
that song?
Four Non-Blondes.
Oh no,
Yeah,
I mean, he's not blonde.
it's true. It's
true.
Frank Ocean.
it's true.
I can't remember where you were going with that, but
No, I have
you
no
gotta
idea
check it.
what we're
Plouffe, do you have any
talking
thoughts on the season? Your final season?
No, it was pretty good.
Your final verdict.
It was pretty good. I wish I had more time. There were definitely one or two albums where I wish I'd been able to listen to it like 2 or 3 more times to see if maybe there was something I wasn't getting. Sometimes it's really hard to pick something when you have a very large collection.
Mm-hmm.
It's very tough to choose because we only get like 12 albums a year.
Yeah, you're literally sitting on top of my collection right now. I have so many records. They're underneath
Yeah,
my
they're
couch.
just piles. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like mine, I have like 250, 300 records. And so to handpick like 10 of them or 15 of them total, throughout the year is hard. Jamie, you've got like 2,000. Most of them are back home, but even here, you've got what, like 300 or 400 records here probably.
There's about 900 here.
Yeah, so you have like 900 records here, and then Bell, your collection's only grown and grown and grown as well.
Trying to get rid of it, but they keep multiplying.
Wow, yeah.
Why would
that's
you
a
try and
problem.
get rid of it?
That's
I
why
know.
Vinyl Verdict will go till the end of time.
Well,
Yep.
basically, or until we were like, well, Jamie, you can't pick another album from
He
the
keeps
Police.
trying to pick the same artist again. We keep having to shoo him away from it. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I agree. I think that's why I enjoy the podcast so much. But obviously, 56 albums in a year, and
It's
each
hard.
are an hour or more. It is a huge time commitment. So of course we appreciate Plouffe being on here for so long, and we will announce our new host soon.
Will
Like
we?
I said, I'm going to Japan, so I'll be away for a while.
Yeah.
But we'll take a short break in the summer and come back. That might be an episode every other week, or maybe we'll come back just hitting the ground running. I don't know.
I'm very excited. The new host gets my approval. I know who it is. I'm not telling you anything though.
It's
No, it's not.
It's not- I'm going to have to bleep that. We're not going to put the pressure on there. I'm excited too. They're excited. You're excited, listener, because you don't know what's in store. So thank you again, Plouffe, so much for your time.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Jamie, for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, me, for my time.
Thank you.
And we'll be
Bell.
back soon with a new season,
Wow.
starting with my pick.
Ice cream.
I'm saying
ice
it now
cream.
so that I get the first pick again.
What's-
3
what-
years in a row, baby. Let's go.
What's your pick? Tell us your pick.
My pick will probably be Being So Normal by Peach Pit.
Wow.
Wonderful.
But maybe I'll choose a Gorillaz album just to be quirky and choose another Gorillaz album.
Oh, it's
Demon
quirky.
Days.
Anyways, thank you so much for listening. We'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.